Okay, so I'm battling this annoying cold right now, but I'm gonna wing it and make this video anyway because the Packers lost another close game on the road in pretty much the same fashion. Packers fall to 3-6 now, 10 weeks into the season. After winning only just their third game of the season against the sorry Rams, Green Bay fell back down to earth and was unable to win a second game in a row. It was honestly deja vu. For the third time in their last 5 games, we had the opportunity to put together a game-winning drive late in the fourth quarter, but just like we've seen before, the game ended in defeat with a Jordan Love interception. He threw 2 picks overall, but coming in the fourth quarter with chances to take the lead. The first one was on just a poor decision, forcing into tight coverage for Christian Watson. And Patrick Peterson was all over him. There was no reason to throw that football. And again, targeting Watson on the final play where it had no shot due to the pressure and it was just a rush throw. There was really nowhere else for Jordan Love to go. So he just kind of just rushed it and just threw it. And, that led to that pick. So, overall, I don't really want to blame the loss on Jordan Love because I thought, because we never really should have been in that position to begin with due to other things leading up to it. So I really don't want to put blame on Jordan Love because I actually thought he played pretty well this game. While the offense wasn't nearly as bad as they've been this season overall, they still left tons of points off the board. They got into the red zone 5 times, but only came away with 1 touchdown, 2 field goals, and 2 interceptions. Imagine they scored on all trips. You got to give the Steelers defense credit for keeping us off the scoreboard nonetheless. But overall, red zone woes played a huge factor into the loss. And for a team that's as mistake-prone as we are, we can't blow those chances, so red zone offense just continues to suck. They haven't found consistent ways to punch it in, even when getting deep into opposing teams' side of the field, scoring only just 3 touchdowns on the last 13 attempts. Ignoring the interceptions, Jordan Love wasn't awful. He played all right. And outside the Bears game, I would say this was probably the best game he's played outside the Bears game. He hit a lot of big chunk plays this game. The third down touchdown throw to Jaden Reed was arguably the best throw he's made all season. It was on time and on the money, so I give him a ton of credit for that. It's a really good play call, good route by Reed, and a really amazing throw to capitalize on a 3rd and 16 nonetheless. Converting that on a crucial 3rd and 4th downs throughout the game, despite once again having no run game to lean on. The offensive line and pass protection held up for the most part. I mean, this Steelers front is really good, but Jordan Love was only sacked once, hit for only 5 times, so they did not let the Steelers pass rush control this game, but they were horrible again in run blocking, failing to open up any run lanes for Aaron Jones, who did not have a good game overall. I'm going to talk more on him later. A.J. Dillon found a couple of gaps, but that's about it. He did break away for that one big run. But other than that, we didn't get much out of the run game once again. Run blocking just sucks. So we had to lean on Jordan Love, as usual, to go out there and try to win the game for us with this Jekyll and Hyde offense. Best things to come out of the offense were our rookie wideouts. Reed had 2 receptions for over 20 yards, including a long 46-yarder. I think that was on that final drive. Musgrave had two receptions of 20 or more yards, and Wicks had a 32-yard reception. Musgrave really needs to learn how to stay on his feet after making a catch, man. It seems like he's always stumbling right after he makes the catch. I mean, you could probably say that's more on how to throw, how the ball's being thrown to him, but still, this guy stumbles like almost every time he catches the ball. But overall, these guys combined for 199 yards total. They've proven capable of making plays when given opportunities. So, hoping for nothing more than just continuing progress from these guys. Along with Romeo Doubs, who caught that first touchdown pass. Again, all you can hope and and continue to want to see is just progress from these rookie wideouts. You got Romeo Doubs, who again, he's been proven to be solid this season. Christian Watson, unfortunately, hasn't found his role in the offense, and I blame the play calling more than anything else. Watson showed last year he works better when scheming him open into space. He's not a go up and grab it in tight coverage wide receiver, despite his height. They need to get the ball in his hands in better ways because trying to force it to him when he has the defensive backs all over him isn't going to work. And times where he has a good step on the defensive back, Joe Love just overthrows the football. So it's just been an overall struggle, not helped by the fact that half of Jordan Love's now 10 interceptions came from targeting Watson. So read more into that if you will. But this offense won't be able to reach its full potential until they learn how to use Christian Watson effectively. All right, a lot of it, a lot of the blame goes to pretty much himself, Jordan Love, and of course Matt LaFleur's play calling. You got to find ways to get this scheme this guy open. He has the talent. He has the talent. You got to find better creative ways to get the ball in his hands. All right. But I tried to point out some positives with the offense despite the loss. Still, we struggle with run blocking, as I said. Drops as usual. Wicks, Watson did drop a pass. Musgrave, A.J. Dillon all had drops in this game that could have helped extend drives. Aaron Jones, back to him, had just a bad game all around. He couldn't get into any rhythm running behind that line. He finished with just 13 carries and dropped a couple passes as well. We can't. I mean, and he's our best playmaker on offense, and he just had a horrible game. That one drop coming off that trick play that it wouldn't have gotten, most likely wouldn't have got the first down, but it definitely would have been some nice positive yards. And in our last funnel drive, he foolishly stayed in bounds for what reason I don't know. As a veteran, the situation that we're in. You know what needs to be done, and yet when you get the ball in your hands, you're running into the middle of the field as if we have a timeout or something. We don't. I'm not sure what was going on in Aaron Jones's head, but it just wasn't smart, and he should have ran out of bounds. So it was just a horrible game by Aaron Jones overall, man, just horrible. And then of course, there's the defense. Oh boy, I can't be the only one laughing at how anytime these guys play well against terrible offense, that somehow translates to them being good. Here's a news flash. They aren't. And why aren't they so bad? Run defense again. Packers just can't seem to get that run defense problem behind them. They can't. Yes, they didn't let the Vikings or Rams run on them. Okay? But excuse me, if I remember correctly, Kirk Cousins, before he got hurt, was still shredding them through the air. So they still didn't look good against the Vikings, and only just look and against the Rams was the only time they really looked at, quote unquote dominant. But even that, it's a strong word to use. All right, just because you can look good against terrible offenses like that doesn't mean that you're a good defense. As sure as not when you can't stop the opposing teams from running the football all over you. So they just picked the wrong time to just go back to their old ways by giving up 205 rushing yards. Jaylen Warren had 101 yards, and Najee Harris had 82 yards. Dominated in the run game. Just dominated. Both Warren and Harris had runs over 20 yards, and both averaged over 5 yards per carry. When you have a run game going that well, you can afford to have your starting quarterback only complete 13 passes because he really doesn't need to go out there and throw the ball much because the opposing team's defense can't stop you from running the football. Those big chunks of plays that we were giving up on the ground contribute to every single time that the Steelers put up points. So you don't need much from your quarterback, which is the complete opposite for us, where we're asking our first year starter quarterback to do too much of offense. So you got one team that doesn't need their quarterback to do much because he has a run game to lean on. And you got the opposite team like us who's asking our quarterback to do too much because he doesn't have a run game to lean on. This is now the third time this season that the Packers have given up over 200 plus yards on the ground. And against the Steelers team that has struggled to get their run game going all season. So once again, the run defense was pitiful, along with missed tackles. They went over their season high and have now missed a total 16 total tackles in this football game. So the only time the defense looked good was when they forced the Steelers out to throw it. Just an overall embarrassing display of football by the defense once again against the run, man. After doing a good job, again in the last two games as far as stopping the run, it didn't take them too long to come back to their old ways. It's embarrassing, man, and I hate having to keep constantly talking about it, but it's a problem that you have to keep addressing. It's a problem that you have to keep talking about. It's a problem that you have to keep addressing. And when you just continue to let teams extend their drives because you can't stop their run, because you can't make key tackles, and you're giving up chunks of yards but then run the football over you with your defensive line just getting absolutely bullied. You're not going to win these football games, man. You're not going to win these football games. You just aren't. When you allow them to extend their drives, drain clock, and run all over you, I mean, literally, the Steelers, listen, the Pittsburgh Steelers literally averaged almost 4 yards before the first contact came. So like I said, the defensive front was just getting bullied all game, man. It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible to watch, man. Just terrible to watch. This defense is not good, man. They're just not good. I don't care how many bad teams they look good against. They're not good when they're actually facing a challenge like this. When they're being asked to stop a team like the Steelers who have two good running backs. Like it's just pitiful. Just overall absolutely pitiful. And just forget it. You know, other things that played a factor into the loss was penalties again. You know, there was one penalty, I think, on the Steelers' second drive that led to a touchdown the next play. You know, then of course you had that missed call by the refs that was clearly a backwards pass and should have been our ball. I don't know how they just didn't overturn that. They just completely blew that call big time, and it cost us at least 3 points. I don't want to say 7 because because we already talked about how bad our offense has been playing in the red zone. But then again, it could have been 7 had they not blown the play dead to begin with Rashawn Gary picking up the fumble and returning it to the end zone. So had they not, so at the end of the day, the refs completely just blew that call and cost us at least 3 points. And then of course you had that block extra point. I don't know what happened, but that ultimately cost us the most due to us needing a touchdown to win the game at the end instead of just a field goal to at least force overtime. And believe me, obviously, I can keep going, man. I can keep talking about all the other things that led to this loss. But, I've been talking long enough, and I don't feel good anyway. Overall, Green Bay lost by their usual antics and failed once again to capitalize opportunities late in the football game. And like I said in my last video, right now, they just don't know how to win. They don't know how to push and seal a W in these close, tight football games. They don't. And until they do, this will be the results. Results that you don't want, considering that were all winnable games and on the road nonetheless. And it's funny how it just seems like we play better on the road, while the only time that we looked good at home was just the previous week against the Rams. But still, the Packers have been in all these tight, close football games and had opportunities in pretty much all of them to possibly win it at the end, to only just blow it. So right now, this team just doesn't know how to win these football games. All right. So, and these are just going to continue to be the results, man. And we just got to live with it. We just got to live with it. Regardless of how frustrating it is, we just got to live with it. This is the team that we have. We know what type of team we have at this point. We know there is no more, let's just see what happens. No, we're now 10 weeks. We're now 10 weeks into the season. We know exactly what type of team we have and what's to be expected. So while it can still be frustrating, while it can still piss you off watching these guys play, at the end of the day, we know what type of football team we have. All right. You just hope that at least one of these weeks, when they find themselves in position, they'll come out with a W. But unfortunately, once again, they couldn't. And so it was just another loss. But you just got to take it as it comes, man. But that's it for me. I'm going to get out of here. Peace.